Yo, what's good everyone? I hope you're doing well. Today I put together 3 tips on how to make your beats hit 10 times harder instantly. And I promise you, if you use any of these tips, your beats will improve in some way, shape, or form. These tips are mostly curated for beginners, but as an advanced producer like myself that has been producing for over 6 years, forgets to hit these 3 points that are basically the heart and soul of any production. So please pay attention. Now, one of your most important things to pay attention to in your production is sound selection. And a lot of people tend to overlook it because they think they can mix in a poorly sampled sound or poorly processed sample. You can't turn poop into gold, bro. And like, just being honest, you can't force it. If your sound selection is not quality, your beat is not gonna be quality. You can have the greatest drum pattern in the world, but if your drums suck, your beat is gonna suck, period. And honestly, it's a simple fix. You just have to train your ears to know the difference between a good sample and a bad one. One sample could be missing frequencies that you would need for the mix to sound crispy, and other one can already have what it needs, so you'll save time mixing, and that is so important. And by mixing, let's dive into what I mean by that. I'm gonna bring you guys over to FLSTUDIO. So here I have a beat loaded up, right? I'm gonna play the drums for you. You know, I'm gonna play half of the beat for you. I use this sample and I just played around with you. All right, so do you hear how crispy the sounds of the drum sounds? You can hear it. You can hear that clap. Actually, the mixer is very messy on this, but I want to hear what I did with the clap. Let's look at the effects on my clap. I compressed it a little bit, decent amount of compression. Soft clipper before the compression to round out the piece a little bit. Small EQ, and that's it. Okay, that's all I did. Let's hear the clap with no effects on it. Sounds pretty much the same. All I did was add some effects to make it fit. Now let's hear it with. I started out with a well sampled and processed sound already. You have to work smarter and not harder when you're making these beats. It's simple. Same with the 808. Now let's listen to the 808 with no effects on it. Okay, decently clean, hard hitting 808. Now let's put the effects back on it. All I did was add a few effects. I EQ'd it, added some stereo effects. I like to do that a lot. Soft clipper, and then some more saturation. Boom, simple as that. You do not need to work hard on your mixes. Actually, I'm not gonna say that, cut that out. You need to mix smart, not hard. Oh wait, all right, let's not say that. You need to work smarter on your mixes and not harder on your mixes. You get what I'm saying? Because if there's too many variables in your mix, it's not gonna sound how you want it to. 9 times out of 10, if I over mix, it comes out sounding worse than it not being mixed at all. Make sure you select your sounds well and you'll be able to mix cleaner. My second tip was mixing, and those two always kind of collide because they work hand in hand. The sound selection and mixing go hand in hand always. So make sure that you select sounds that you think are going to fit into the project regardless, and you won't have as hard of a time mixing. All right, so you guys have made it to the end of the video, and the third most important tip that I've started to use a lot recently is visualization. Okay, now look, this is a tip that may seem obvious at first, and it is pretty obvious, but you have to make sure that you don't overlook it. When you open up your DAW and you open up your project, you have to visualize, you have to have an end goal in mind. You have to visualize what you want the listener to feel from your production, because music is all about conveying emotion anyway, right? You want the listener to feel what you want them to feel, right? And you have to make a beat and try to make the listener feel a certain way. That means with every pattern, every drum, every synth, every melody, you have to visualize it in your mind before it hits your DAW. You can't just go in there and not have a plan. My beats have hit so much harder when I have a goal on what I want, what the vibe I even want to go for, you know? And a lot of times you don't want to put yourself in a box. You never want to put yourself in a box. You always want to be as creative as you can be. But there's no way to do that if you don't visualize in your mind what you want the beat to sound like, what you want the track to ultimately become. And yeah, that's pretty much the most important thing you can do. You want your beats to have a purpose. When you send out beats and the artist hears the beat, they're gonna feel it first. They're not gonna hear everything, but they're gonna feel the sound. You're gonna feel the emotion that you convey, and that's what you want at the end of the day, is for the listener to be impacted by your music and your work. And a lot of times as producers, we forget that, but if there's no feeling, there's no emotion, there's no soul behind it, then how can you be successful? And yeah, really that's all you can do, is just mix well, select your sounds well. Make sure you have a goal in mind for what you want the outcome of the beat to be. So we're gonna end the video. If any of these tips were beneficial to you, please like and subscribe. More content like this on the way. I'm trying some new content out. But yeah, hopefully these tips were helpful to you and you can improve your beats. And also, I live stream Mondays and Tuesdays, and I would love to hear some of your work, give some good feedback on it. So if you're interested in that, join the Discord in the description. And until then, God bless, and I'll see you guys on the next piece.